So I was in the bathroom the other day, minding my own f***ing business, when for some reason I just started thinking, hey, what would it look like if somebody were to sneak up behind me at the frosted glass window and look inside while I wasn't looking? This is literally how my brain works all the time. Sorry to everybody that I've ever gone camping with. So then I thought to myself, you know what, I've just got like a little bit of free time on my hands today, and despite the fact that I have limited resources and only myself, maybe I'll just go ahead and shoot it because there might be somebody else out there who also has limited resources and only themselves, but thinks about scary things when they're alone sometimes and wants to film that so that they can use that for projects and ideas later. I don't know, would that be a good idea? Because that's what I did. So this is the bathroom. That's the practical that I want to try and use. I'm shooting on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and using a Siri 24mm anamorphic lens. The first thing I want to try and do is utilize the available light by trying to shape it using some black wrap and diffusion. But after a bit of trial and error, I realized that it's not quite getting the job done because it's spilling too much on the wall and bouncing everywhere. So I remove everything and opt for these awesome little Aputure MC lights. They're lightweight, RGB, and can fit nicely on a magic arm. It takes a lot of tinkering to reduce the spill over the walls, but after a whole bunch of back and forth, I am finally left with this beautiful piece of art, and boy howdy, look how proud that little boy is. So we're getting nice and moody, and I've opted to change the mirror a little bit to show my subject in another angle and help potentially hide any unwanted reflections, because shooting in rooms with mirrors is usually a really bad idea. Now that it's in a decent place, it's always nice to see where we started and how a little tweaking goes a long way. Since I wanted a silhouette sneaking up in the background, I've got to contend with these lights in the hallway. I wanted to try and utilize what's available to me because I assume that that's what a lot of people need to do. Holy shit, what is that? The lights on their own are a little bit too sourcey and are casting too many shadows, and keeping them off is kinda neat looking, but maybe a little bit too subtle and won't give me much contrast. So I flag one of them off to get rid of those extra shadows while covering the other in a paper lantern and a little bit of duvetine to both soften it up and give it a bit of a more ambiguous shape. Now all that's left to do is shoot the darn thing, so excuse me while I go and do that. Now that that's all done, I can edit and I can color. I'm no colorist at all, and it would be irresponsible of me to show my workflow, suffice to say that I'm using DaVinci Resolve, and there are a million YouTubers out there who know much more than I do. I shot 2 plates, one of me acting as the protagonist and one of me approaching the window. It's just a matter of lining them up, masking, and some final zhuzhing, and there we go. But a funny thing happened once it finished. The acting was fine, the timing was fine, but there was something about the image that I didn't like. There wasn't enough depth, not enough contrast, not enough color variation. It was fine, but fine wasn't good enough. So I shot it again. Early in my career, somebody pointed out that if you settle for something that's good enough in the present, chances are you're only ever going to notice its flaws in the future. And while this industry is all about concessions sometimes, I've learned that if you see something that you want to change and you have time to change it, chances are you really should. So here we go again. Same process as before, except this time you'll all be spending much more time looking at my butt. Okay, it's probably time to cut away from that. I tried utilizing one of the paper lanterns as a softer, larger source, but as you can see, the ceiling just wasn't high enough and it would show up in all the mirrors. Sometimes you just gotta look defeat in the face and say, let's get cozy, you big old ding dong. So instead, I sandwiched 2 of the MC lights together in some diffusion, gave them a little cone of black wrap, added another MC light on a magic arm, and we are off to the races. All I'm trying to do here is just get the light off the back wall, keep it on me for good exposure, and soften it so that it wraps around my face while still providing depth and contrast. I bounced an MC light off the ceiling in the hallway so that I could play with different color temperatures and gels to help get a little bit of variation. Then a quick costume change and a tweak or two, and we are ready to shoot again. It's neat to directly compare these shots as they're pretty much the exact same setup, but with a few alterations can feel so different. It's not perfect, but considering what I had available, I feel good about how things ended up. And it's especially noticeable when we started from the bottom and now we're here. Is it absolutely a shot that I think is going to go into a future project? I don't really know. I think it looks kind of neat, and I think it's a testament to how much work goes into these individual shots and setups that you have, and I hope that it's inspiring for some people. I'm absolutely not an authority of these things, but what I do when I have an idea, I tend to execute on those ideas. So I hope that in the end this can be something of a creative kick in the pants for people who would otherwise be sitting on their butts and thinking, hey, I've got all these good ideas, but I don't have all of the people to make my dreams come true. You will never have the people that will make your dreams come true. It is not happening, but that's okay, because you are able to take these little bits and little pieces and find the time to put them together until you have a project that you're proud of. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be sitting in the bathroom thinking about scary stuff all day. I should go to therapy.